This is the XPENG G9, the company's fourth production model. The G9 Flagship SUV features some of the latest technology from XPENG, and luckily, today we get to check out the most specced out version. So we have a lot of cool things to show you. We know XPENG is famous for embedding cutting-edge technology and innovations into their products, such as a P7 and a P5. They're doing the same for their latest G9 as well. So, with this beautiful G9 right in front of us, let's check it out. Beginning with the exterior design, we can see that the G9 has a similar design language to the P7. We still get an iconic lightsaber running under the hood. I believe XPENG calls it XSpot Phase 3.0. Below, we have the headlight cluster, and while it looks just like the P7, the headlight cluster on the G9 is much larger. And of course, we now have two LiDAR units on the front, just like the P5, meaning that the G9 will also get City and GP just like the P5. However, with this LiDAR placement, you do need to be careful when driving, because if there's any minor scratch or collision, the LiDAR units are likely to get damaged first, and the cost for repair won't be very cheap. As for the hood, opening it would bring us to the front trunk, or frunk if you want to call it that. The storage space is kind of okay. You can easily put your backpack or some small luggage inside. Moving to the back, we can see the stunning LED tail lights that just wrap around the back corners, just like the front LED light bars that also stretches to the sides. However, there's one small difference for the tail lights in comparison to the P7 and the P5, as we see some padding at the middle of the light bar, which is a pretty welcome design change. As for the storage area at the back, it's actually quite spacious. XPENG says it's got 660 liters of storage, so putting four massive 28-inch pieces of luggage at the back won't obstruct the driver's rear view. There's also a button at the back to lower the car, so it will be easier for you to move your luggage in and out. Also, we see a hidden auto-deploying tow bar for people who like to go camping. On the top, we have the 5G antennas that blend in with the roof bars. On the side, the G9 comes with soft closed doors, frameless windows, and of course, pop-out handles. I would say the side view is the most beautiful angle for the G9. The entire car has a drag coefficient of 0.272, which is crucial to maintaining a long range. As for the dimensions, the G9 is 4891mm long, 1937mm wide, and 1680mm tall, along with a wheelbase of 2998mm. In other words, it's more like a mid-sized SUV, not super big but also not too small. Overall, I quite like the design of the G9. The simple colors also give it a more minimalistic look, with the black colors drawing out the contours of the G9. I believe this car model is definitely handsome enough to compete in the market. When it comes to electric vehicles, one of the things that buyers look for is acceleration. For the four-wheel drive performance version, the G9 comes with 405 kilowatt power output and 717 Nm of torque. XPENG claims that the G9 can do 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.9 seconds. However, in reality, you don't really need sports mode to do 0 to 60 at every intersection. As for braking, the G9 can stop from 60 to 0 in 34.6 meters, which is pretty impressive for such a big SUV. In terms of driving, XPENG's ADAS, or Advanced Driver Assistance System, is what makes it stand out from other EVs. As you have seen, the G9 has a ton of sensors to make the ADAS as powerful as possible. We have a total of 31 sensors, including two LiDAR units at the front, 12 cameras, 5mm wave radars, as well as 12 ultrasonic radars. And those cameras are well hidden as if they are part of the design. Also, we have two NVIDIA Drive Orin X chips that have 508 TOPS of computing power, as well as Gigabit Ethernet communication architecture inside. So I'm really excited to see what the G9 has to offer in the near future, especially the X and GP function that XPENG just announced with the G9. Now, let's talk about the interior of the G9. We can see XPENG has made a lot of improvement in terms of build quality. The interior is filled with Nappa leather, and the surfaces are soft and have a comfortable feel. We also have metal touch points that bring a more premium vibe to the interior. As for the front seats, they're soft enough for you to sink into them, but hard enough for you to feel the underlying support. The front seats also have heating, ventilation, and massage functions built in. There's also additional leg rest for the passenger seat. Below the central screen, we have a phone holder. However, only the left side has built-in wireless charging. I mean, what's the point of having just one? While this is quite a bummer, at least we have a Type-C charging port below. We also have two cup holders, and you can access them by pushing down the cover. It's an interesting design, but I'm a little worried it might break after several years. As for the center console, it is quite cool that it opens both ways. Moving to the rear seats, you can see it's pretty roomy in the back. We have tons of legroom and headroom. Even if you're over 180 centimeters or 6 feet tall, there is still a lot of space for you to sit comfortably. As for the back seats, they're also quite comfy, and they come with heating and massage functions. Also, we have thigh cushion extension available, so your knees and inner thighs won't be floating in mid-air during longer trips. You can also adjust the recline angle of the back seats to find a comfortable position. In the middle, we have a typical armrest with hidden cup holders. We also have a Type-C charging port right there. The thing I love the most is the view that you get by sitting in the rear seats. The panoramic roof creates a very nice, airy feelings that I enjoy a lot. If the sun gets quite powerful, XPENG also has additional sunshades for the panoramic roof. Another thing is that you can adjust the passenger seat's position from the back, meaning you don't have to reach all the way to the front in order to adjust the passenger seat. As for the voice assistant, the G9 now allows rear seat passengers to get in on the action. 你好，小 P。
后排请吩咐。
打开车窗。
右后车窗正在打开。
Speaking of the voice assistant, XPENG's Xiao P is one of the most powerful voice assistants among other EVs, and it gets even better on a G9. First of all, you can make multiple requests in one sentence, and Xiao P will perform all of them accordingly. 你好，小 P。
后排请吩咐。
打开车窗并播放音乐。
好了，右后车窗打开了，一起听歌吧。
At the same time, Xiao P can take requests from different individuals simultaneously, meaning that even when everyone in the car requests something at the same time, Xiao P can handle all of them with a breeze. Most importantly, you can now use it even during offline conditions, which is a great addition. Now, let's talk about the two big screens at the front. The G9 comes with two 14.96-inch touchscreens, one in the middle and one on the passenger side. There's also a small 10-inch screen for the driver that displays lots of information right above the steering wheel. What's interesting about these two large touchscreens is that both can change the setting of the G9. Usually, only the middle screen has all the car control settings, but on a G9, you can move all the control settings to the passenger screen. At the same time, there's a special coating on the passenger screen that turns it into an anti-picking screen. So if you try to look at the passenger screen from the driver's seat, you'll only see a black screen, but the passengers can watch the content on the screen just fine. I think this is a cool feature since it prevents the drivers from being distracted by the content shown on the passenger screen. Another new feature of the G9 would be what XPENG calls X-Opera. Basically, this is XPENG's solution to create a more immersive auditory experience similar to a concert hall. By utilizing a Dyno Audio Confidence audio system that has 28 audio units with a total output of 2250 watts. This not only supports 7.1.4 Dolby Atmos, but also has what XPENG calls a 5D experience. What it does is when you're watching a film, in addition to the visuals and the 7.1.4 spatial audio, you will also experience seat vibrations, changes to the ambient lighting, adjustable air conditioning, and customized fragrances when watching a film. So let's give it a try. Honestly, it seems very similar to the feeling that you get when watching films inside a 4D theater, and I quite enjoyed it. The downside is that it only has a very limited library of films, since adjusting the seat vibrations in order to match the scene of a film is quite time-consuming. Now, let's take the G9 to the road and see how it feels when driving. The G9 we're driving today has dual-chamber air suspension with CDC, continuous damping control. And XPENG says the G9 can anticipate road conditions in advance and actively adjust the suspension through the pre-sensing hardware. Overall, when the car is in comfort mode, I can feel the G9's air suspension actively canceling and filtering out some small bumps in the road. At the same time, it was still able to give me a clear feedback on the road. Overall, the G9's air suspension in comfort mode is just right. But there are some sections of the highway where I still wish this air suspension would filter out more road information. Meanwhile, the G9's air suspension is available at 5 different heights with roughly 100 millimeters of adjustable height. As for the NVH, or noise, vibrations, and harshness of the G9, I would say it is pretty impressive. When we park the G9 near a busy intersection with large trucks passing by, the cabin can still maintain a quiet and relaxing atmosphere. Even when we take the G9 onto the highway at 120 km per hour, the G9's cabin noise is still at a comfortable sound level. While the G9 is a fantastic SUV, it's still an electric vehicle, meaning there will be concerns regarding its range. XPENG claims that the G9 has a maximum CLTC range of 702 km if you choose to go with the rear-drive models. Honestly, 702 km is quite an impressive range when you take a look at other EV SUVs out there. And I've also seen people testing it and getting around 682 km of actual range, which is fantastic. As for the four-wheel drive models, we're getting 650 km of range, according to XPENG. What's more important is that the G9 is the world's fastest charging mass-produced EV since it's using China's first 800-volt mass-production silicon carbide platform. In plain English, this means that the G9 can get 200 km of CLTC range after just 5 minutes of charging if you're using XPENG's newest S4 charging station. To put it more simply, you can charge the G9 from 10% to 80% in just 15 minutes when using the S4 charging stations. This is honestly very impressive. However, there are still minor drawbacks to the G9. Although we're checking out the most specced out version, we still don't get the built-in dash cams. I mean, we have 12 cameras on this car, so they can certainly do more, right? We also don't have an HUD, or head-up display, which is a little disappointing, since I enjoy using the HUD more than looking at the dashboard. Another thing is the wireless charging that I mentioned before. These are the drawbacks that I have found so far. So, how about the price? Well, here are the prices for the G9. You can check it out yourself, because it's such a mouthful to pronounce. So, what do you think of the XPENG G9? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see other XPENG videos, click here. And as always, for tech and gadgets, we got you covered. See you next time.